welcome to my Coffee with Kate show. So excited to have you here today. We are going to have a really amazing conversation about speaking and your business. So I'm super happy to introduce my friend and guest, Tony Caruso. Hello, Tony. Thanks for being here.
I'm excited.
Good. Super excited to have you. We've been trying to make this happen for a while, and so it's finally happening. And I think a lot of people know about it. So hopefully we're going to get a lot of people tuning in, but also we're happy to have you here if you're watching on the replay. So Tony is someone who believes that the fastest way to grow your business isn't through another social media post. It's through speaking from stage or by standing on a stage, except if you stand on a stage, you actually have to speak to. Right?
I hope. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm thrilled to welcome you here today. Tony is a speaking coach, and she's also the executive director of the eWomen Speakers Network and Speakonomics, right?
Yeah.
The event, which is the best thing ever. She helps entrepreneurs harness the power of speaking to grow their influence, build credibility, and bring in business, because that's why we're all doing this thing. So whether you've spoken before or just thinking about it, this conversation, easy for me to say, will shift the way you view speaking as a marketing strategy. So thank you again for making the time to be here, Tony.
I'm very excited.
Thanks so much. You often say that speaking is one of the fastest ways to grow your business. Can you please just break that down for us? What makes speaking such a powerful marketing tool?
Well, first of all, the person with the microphone is the one that has the power. When you're in front of the room and you have the microphone, you're already viewed as an expert in whatever it is you're talking about. So that's number one. Before you even say a word, you're up there. Someone's invited you to be on that stage or in front of that room. It's credibility already. So now you are the expert. But isn't it a lot easier to get on a stage and talk to 20, 30, 200, 300 people than doing Zoom meeting after Zoom meeting, coffee meeting after coffee meeting, all that one-on-one? One-on-one is great. It's personal, but isn't it better to just do one-to-many? That's what I always say.
Absolutely. You know, and I've been speaking a long time. In fact, a mutual friend of ours, Marky Reed.
Yes.
From Vermont. So originally, I was one of the founding members of the eWomen chapter in Vermont back in 2019. But before that, I had been speaking. I had been the executive director of the Women Business Owners Network in Vermont. So I was doing our conferences and speaking and stuff like that. But we had the opportunity, Marky, me, and another woman from Vermont, to do a 3-person panel at the National Organization for Women. So that was my first sort of national stage. And it was probably back in like 2013. And I was a nervous wreck. And Marky has been speaking a long time. She's a seasoned speaker, so she really helped put me at ease. So when I think about when I first got there and where I'm at today, speaking is really literally one of my ways to get clients. Like it's one of my verticals to get clients. And I almost always get a client out of it. So let's talk about when you're on stage and you are wanting to make connections with people afterwards, whether they work with you, ask you to be a speaker at their event or on a podcast or something, what tips can you kind of give us to sort of have these outcomes happen, but without saying it on stage that this is what you want to have happen? You know what I mean?
Well, I truly believe that if you are a speaker, now I have been an event planner and I've been in the back of the room dealing with speakers 30 years, right?
Right.
And the speakers that showed up early, they were in the audience. Maybe they weren't even speaking till the second or third day, but they were there right bright and early on that first day. Part of the audience, you become part of the community, and you're there through the end. That is when you're closing business. You are not closing business on the stage when you're offering something and you're given that opportunity. Great, wonderful. You can sell from the stage. But you're making connections at lunch, in the bathroom. I have closed so much business in a ladies' room, you have no idea. Done some really great masterminding too. When you're at the bar at the end of the night, stay at the location, be a part of the community, because once you're a part of the community, you've already got that no. They already like you. Now get on stage, do your talk, and then they'll trust you. So that is how you build that expertise. Those speakers that roll in 10 minutes before, hey, I need to get mic'd up. They're in the back doing jumping jacks, getting their testosterone up, then they jump on the stage and they do their thing and then they run off. I'll be back in the back of the room for 15 minutes and you got to run to them. Well, let me tell you, as an event planner, I'm in the back of the room, and on day 3, there are people coming up to me asking me questions about the program the speaker sold on the first day. I am not part of your team. I don't know what your program involves. I don't know, hey, is the mastermind going to be on a Tuesday? Are you going to have to do a lot of Zoom calls? What it includes? I don't have those answers. So
Right.
if I can't be there and say, you know what? Kate is right over there. Why don't you just go ask Kate? She'll be able to answer those questions for you
Right.
when you're closing your business.
You make such an excellent point, because when obviously speak at eWomen chapters and things like that, but I speak in the digital marketing world. I speak at marketing conferences. I've been hired to be a keynote speaker for companies doing their trainings for their sales teams and things like that. And I always go a day early, and I ask them, I'm like, and they're like, you want to come? I'm like, yeah. I want to sit and have lunch with them. I want to go to the cocktail hour the night before, so that by the time I get up on stage, and I've asked questions about people's experience, usually it's about LinkedIn. So I'll ask them little nuggets so that when I get on stage and I'm talking, I can be like, hey, Carl over there told me last night about his da-da-da. And then the feedback I get from the event planner afterwards, and the people like from the company, they're like, that was awesome. And you know what? They brought me back for 2 more trainings online for like the entire North American territory.
Exactly.
So,
I did an event, and the first time I saw that happen, it was the woman, and I don't remember her name, and I'm so sorry. She runs the Prosperity Network out of Florida. Lovely woman. She got up and spoke, and I saw her do this. She said, you know what? I was at cocktails last night, and Kate asked me this question, and it was a brilliant question. And I think a lot of you in the audience could really benefit from what she asked me in our conversation. And then, you know what? Joe and I had breakfast this morning. You are already part of the community. They're like, oh my God, she's one of us.
right.
You're not just sweeping in, putting on a personality, jumping off the stage. And that's and I love men, but it's a very masculine form of doing business. Women need to trust you more. Women are
Exactly.
like, how many women have gone into a bathroom and walked out? I mean, I've done this and said to my husband, oh my God, honey, we need to go to Macy's. There's a pair of shoes there. They're on sale. We got to get them now. And he's like, what are you talking about? I just saw this woman in the bath. Like, you talk to people in the bathroom,
Yep.
but that's the way women do business. We trust other women and what they're saying. Oh my God, who does your hair? I love it. Oh my God, give me her card. It's
Exactly.
relationships. It's
Exactly.
relationships. And the
Well,
same
doesn't
thing.
it always come back to relationships? I
Yeah.
mean, even when I teach people about how to use LinkedIn, it's not necessarily, it's yes, I'm training you on the features of the platform, but it starts with relationships.
Yeah.
It starts with connection, and it's foundational, right?
Well, and especially when you're looking at speaking from the stage and you have a message, and I get this all the time. I just want to change the world. I want to share my message. Well, that's all good and well, but you need to have a strategy. What is the end result? When you walk off that stage, what is it you want? Do you just want to change one person's life and you tell your story? Great. There's a TED Talk, wonderful.
Right.
But are you building a business? And if you're building a business, it's because you went through something that changed your life and you came out the other side. Now, never get on a stage and tell a story about something you are currently going through. If you're going through a hideous divorce, don't get up there, because there's a lot of anger. There's a lot of frustration. You can really look bad on a stage because
Yeah.
you're in the middle of it.
Exactly.
You got to wait till you've come to the other end. Life is beautiful, what you've learned. And that's what women will relate with. Like, oh my God, I need to talk to her. She understands me because she has a unique selling proposition, because she's been through what I've been through. So that's what you have to realize. Don't go on the stage and do your marketing talk.
Right.
Tell your stories.
Yep. It's always about the stories. I mean, even when I work with my clients, the very first thing we do with specific regard to their LinkedIn profile is we find that slice of life story that you can use in your about section. It's got to be in alignment with your work and who you
Right.
work with. It's not just like some story that you pull out of thin air,
Yeah.
but it's what makes you memorable
Right.
and
And people,
relatable.
and I mean, I could tell you, Bo Eason is great with stories. He's a master storyteller. I could do his 90 minutes in front of you right now because it was one story after another story after another story, and I remember them all. Now, if he was telling me, how to have my A game and not have a B game, that's the name of his book. Yeah, not interested. But
Right.
his stories shared told me, oh my goodness, he's been through so much and look what he's done through it and what he learned. And those are the things I can learn and do and put into my business right now.
Exactly. Thank you for that. I love that we're on the same page here on
Yeah.
that. No surprise. So if you all are watching right now, please, if you have any questions for Tony, feel free to put them in the chat and we will get them answered for you live here. If you're watching on the replay, certainly put your questions in here, tag me or Tony, and we'll get back to you by way of chat. So let's kind of stay on this sort of selling from stage a little bit thing. So for someone who wants to attract clients, but doesn't want to sell from the stage, what do you suggest?
Well, and I don't really like using the sell from the stage
I don't
because
either, but I wanted to
because
make
you're
the
not
point.
selling. And I used to get up in front of large groups when I was the event planner and do all the housekeeping or whatever. And I would always say, listen, you are going to hear from some amazing people today. And they are going to be giving some offers. And they're going to offer opportunities for some of you to work with them. Please note that they may not be the right opportunity for you. So don't hem or haw. Don't walk out of the room when they're about to do their offer because you're like, I don't want to listen to this guy. Sell to me. But just know the person to the right or the person to the left might need that. It might be the one thing that changes their life, the one thing that could change everything. So if I was a speaker, I love it when they offer because I sit and I listen. What are they doing right? What do you feel is a little icky? Like what is making you uncomfortable? You don't want to do that. Learn from that. So
Exactly.
be there and be supportive. But it's not selling from stage. You are offering people who are going through what you have been through the opportunity to come out the other side just like you did. And if you have a program or a service that they can then buy into that will change their life, that is why you're there. And even if it's one person, if you could change one person's life, you're golden.
Exactly.
But I think we need to stop the selling from the stage. Now, I also, when I have events like Speakonomics and I just did a business intensive, we only offer one thing from the stage. One thing after 2 days, one thing to work with the eWomen Speakers Network with Speakonomics. But we have 6, 8, sometimes 10 different speakers and podcasters on there, but we don't allow them to offer from the stage other than a free gift that they can then opt into. You nurture them down the line because I don't like to feel like in an audience I am having a talking head sell to me over and over and over and over again. It's
I don't even want to sell from stage, really. I mean, you can talk about it, and it always depends on, I mean, right, the classic marketing line, it depends. It always depends on the event. It depends on your audience. It depends on the event person reaching out to you saying, we're looking for a speaker to talk about X topic, and you're going to be speaking to 100 women entrepreneurs. And they really want to know about this. So if anything, I have a free offer at the end where they can either get on a call with me or they can get a link to an opt-in that is relatable to the topic that will help them and bring them value. So those are the kinds of things that I prefer versus selling from stage. And actually more and more places, I don't know, you know better than I, more and more places aren't really having people sell from stage.
The idea of selling from stage, and this is one of the things I go over in Speakonomics, is the different stages and what they bring. If you're being paid to speak, everybody's like, I want to get paid to speak. Well, you ignite women's passions so that they can have that next chapter. A corporation is not going to bring you in and pay you $20,000 to talk to their female employees so you can tell them, hey, you hate your job? I can ignite your passion so you can leave your job and go do something over here. So you have to understand, who is my ideal audience and where are they located and what is the process? Now, events are extremely expensive, especially since COVID shut down.
Yep.
Hotels, catering services, the price is astronomical to do an event. So sometimes you do have to pay to play. So sometimes you do have to pay some money because they're trying to cover their cost. Well, you're paying money to be on their stage. You have to cover your cost, your flights, your hotel, your marketing materials, whatever it is, and the cost to be on the stage. Why not offer something? And the offer should be in alignment with the time that you have on stage, So if you're on stage for 20 minutes, it's a free gift. If you're on stage for 30 minutes, it's something under $500. You're on stage for 45 minutes, maybe it's $997, $1,250. You're on stage for an hour to 90 minutes, you can go for a high ticket offer. You cannot, if you are going into a cold audience, they don't know you, you have to build that know, like, trust. You can't hit them after a half hour and say, hey, listen, join my $16,000 program that's going to blah, blah, blah. Unless you're in a room filled with people who have $16,000 that they can spend.
Yeah, exactly. Well said. Hey, we have a question here from my friend Jim Fuse, actually. It's a great question. Should you consider speaking virtually if you are just getting started or look for local places to speak for free? That's a really good question.
And absolutely you should. Yeah. It's all practice. Why would you pay a lot of money to speak on a stage or get onto a stage with 100 people and you've never given that talk before? You don't know what to do when you're up there. Fail in the smaller places. You got to, and failing is a learning process. So why would you step on stage and like, oh, I'm an expert on this, and you don't understand the whole process, and you get up there and you freeze, or you say something wrong, or you've got your notes. I just saw these women get on stage to tell their personal story for 5 minutes, and they had notes. Like, what do you need notes telling your personal story? All right, I digest. But I always believe you should speak for free in small places, but do not get into the habit of speaking for free all the time where it's going to cost you money to travel, hotels, whatever it is, because you can say yes to everything. And then after a year, it's like, I've been speaking all over, and you've lost $50,000 in payments. So thank you. That was Jim. It was great question. And virtually is a great way because you don't have to leave your house. It doesn't cost you anything.
Yep. Just make sure you have good lighting and a good microphone, good audio. Yes, for sure. So one of the questions I wanted to ask you is how does someone know? It's kind of in line with what we're already talking about. How does someone know they're ready to speak, even though they're not a polished pro? Like, they have this urge, they want to do this, but they're, it's sort of like people who are, don't have any camera confidence. Like, I want to get these branding photos, but I'm not photogenic. Like, I want to speak on stage, but I don't know if I can really do this. What would you say to people like that?
Well, if you were someone and you were looking for a headshot and you wanted to have camera confidence or whatever, you'd find a great photographer that would make you feel comfortable in front of the camera, right? So you find a great coach, a speaking coach, to help you. Or there's a great way to do this. Videotape yourself. Get on a Zoom and give your talk.
I've done that.
Yeah. Give your talk. I have a stand-up desk. I could be standing at this right now, and do the talk, and then watch it back. And watch it without sound. Watch your body movements. Do you look nervous? Are you moving around? Are your hands doing something weird? And make note of that. Then watch it again with no picture and just listen to it. Do you say a lot? Are there words that you're like this and like that, and hey, you tracking with me? I love that with Sandra. But there are certain things and you go, ooh, that's kind of annoying. I need to get that out. And then watch it again with sound and video, and be cognizant of the message and is it landing? So you can practice on your own, and and like Sandra always says, you have to have courage in order to have confidence. So get out there in front of a group, invite your friends and say, hey, listen, I want to speak. I've done this PowerPoint. Can you guys just jump on a Zoom with me and let me run through it with you? And then give me
That's
a
a
little
really good idea.
feedback. You
Yeah.
know, there's nothing wrong with that. I always tell people, I have no video of me speaking. Get on a Zoom with 20 of your friends and say, oh, I'm so glad you're here. It's just exciting. Put in the chat if you're excited. You know, get that video and record it and put that into your website or your speaker profile, whatever it is. And it shows you speaking, but it gives you an audience to feed off of.
You really bring up a great idea about speaking locally, and Jim asked that's such a good question. Speaking at your local Rotary Club, speaking at a BNI, these are kinds of things that you know are important. They give you that training ground. And also, if you do go to like a Rotary and you know one or two people at that Rotary Club, say, listen, I'm getting up there, I'm talking about this. I mean, people are going to have an idea already of your topic, but say, hey, listen, when it comes to the Q&A, if nobody says anything, would you mind? Like, it's not that you're asking them to say something rehearsed. You're just asking them like, hey, ask a question to help get the conversation going. Would you mind doing that? I've done that.
Oh, I've done that too. It's great.
And it's great. And you know what? It also gives you some comfort that you've got, people call them a plant, but it's not a plant. It's a connection that you already have, that you have a trusted relationship with. And you're basically just saying, hey, if people don't ask a question, would you mind raising your hand and ask a question to get this started? And
I always say when you're speaking and you're nervous, find the person in the audience whose head is nodding or they're smiling. You know, they're listening, they're getting it. Keep going back to them because you're talking to them. Just talk to them, you know, and then go over here a little bit, come back to them because they're in there, they're supporting you. I find it's harder to speak in front of people you know than people you don't know. So a lot of times if that friend is there and they're smiling, if you look at them, you might lose it. But I just remember after COVID, I walked out on the eWomen stage and I had a bunch of women who were in my chapter and they all had pink on and they all had their cameras up recording me. And I froze, just froze because I hadn't been on a stage. It'd been 2 years. I'd been doing virtual. Now I'm live in front of 200 people and these people have their camera up. I mean, I froze. So it happens to everybody.
Yes.
And to be very honest, just go with it.
Yeah.
If you forget something, nobody knows what you're planning.
I know. Nobody
say.
knows what you've forgotten because they don't know what's in your brain.
And please, my biggest pet peeve is speakers who write everything down. Write out your speech. That's all well and good. Print it out. And then I always say, walk your talk.
Yeah.
Get your talk, walk it around because then it gets conversational. Go back to that Word document, bullet point it. Walk those bullet points around and then it gets conversational. Then put that down and get up and talk. And if you forget something, it doesn't matter. Nobody knows. Just keep going.
Exactly. You know, one of the most nerve-wracking talks I ever gave, and also the most exciting, was 2 years ago when Sandra and Kim Yancey, the CEO and president of eWomen Network, asked me to do a 45-minute training. And I was the first speaker of the pre-con day one. And I mean, in some ways, it's like the safest audience because I know so many people. But I was more nervous than ever before because I'm like, if I blow it, I'm blowing it in front of everybody I know. I don't want to embarrass Kim for inviting me to do that. Like, I mean, all these things go through my head. And when I got up there and I saw everybody, I just, Betsy Clark said to me, it's Betsy Clark. Betsy Clark said to me, right before you walk on stage, say, this is my time and these are my people. And I kind of went, but I know exactly what you mean. It's like, it's such an exciting thing. And then it's more nerve-wracking almost.
Well, and you want those nerves. If you're not getting the nerves, then there's a problem. You should be nervous, but don't use the word nervous. A reporter went up to Olympic athletes before they were going to do their, swimming or whatever it was. And they say, are you nervous? I'm excited. Are you nervous? I'm excited. It's the exact same emotion in your body. So just change the word in your head. I'm excited.
Yes.
Be excited because you want that. And the audience feels it when you walk out. If you're excited or if you're like, and please don't stand behind podiums.
No.
Don't stand still move around,
Move
not too
around.
much, but move
Yeah.
around and get comfortable. Don't wear
Mhm.
shoes that you haven't walked in. And if you're not,
Good point.
if you cannot walk in high heels, don't decide to walk on high heels on a stage. It
Exactly.
shows. Wear clothes that fit you, that you like and feel confident in. If you're
Absolutely.
picking at your clothes,
Pulling
the
your
audience,
Spanx down and
yeah,
your strapless bra.
the
Don't do it.
audience feels everything you're feeling. So if you're feeling nervous, they're nervous. If you're feeling like you're uncomfortable, they're uncomfortable. So, just know hand movements, watch your body language,
Yep.
don't point at audience, don't do things that don't work. And I always say, if you want to be a speaker, go out to every conference that you can go to, watch speakers, get on YouTube, watch speakers, and see all the different things they do. And you go, oh my God, I love that he did that.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, check this out, Tony. I just got this. This is a gentleman that's watching our show and says, "Great job. You got a new subscriber." That's off of
Oh,
YouTube.
welcome.
That's
Yay.
never happened before. That's exciting. That's cool. So
Yay.
thank you, I guess, Sam.
Sam?
And I don't think it's my son. So
Oh.
because my son doesn't have a blog. Anyway. All right, let's just switch gears a little bit. So before I ask you this next question, just give us a quick little snapshot of the eWomen Speakers Network.
All right. Well, eWomen has found that I can't say it that way. We found that we want more female messengers on stages, on bigger stages. Women are not getting on stage as much. We're tired of going. And yes, I love Russell Brunson and I love Bo Eason and I love all these male speakers that are out there. That's great. But we need more women voices up there.
Amen.
And women need to hear from more women. And so if we can get our members to have the confidence and have the ability and understand the importance of storytelling and understand the business of speaking so they can thrive on those stages, that is our goal. And if you would have asked any of the people in eWomen Network, do you want to be a speaker? 90% would say yes. So why we're going after the 90% of those members who really want to get on stages and want to succeed and build their business. And so I teach as an event planner the business of speaking, but then I bring in all these amazing experts to train you every month on something you need to know. We just had a fabulous woman who's a professor here at SMU who teaches presentation skills, and it's PowerPoint presentation skills.
Yeah. Oh,
and
that's another whole topic.
talking about how your PowerPoint is your partner on stage. And it was brilliant. I must say, I was so enthralled with her. And next month we have the founder and inventor of Podmatch, Alex Sanfilippo. And he's coming in. Yeah, I love him. This is his third time training. And he is partnering up with Larry Roberts, who's big on Podfest. And we're doing a whole hour of Q&A. What do you need to know to maximize your guest appearances on podcasts?
Right.
And also, how do you
which is another form of speaking. People don't think of it that way.
Well, and if you are not on podcasts, you need to be on it. Just like Jim said, virtually and free, podcasts are a great way to hone those little clarifying messages that you need to say in media bites. So, and it doesn't cost you any money.
Exactly. And vet them too. There's so many podcasts out there, but do some research. Don't just be like, I'm available for any podcast, because I'm not saying you have to get on like the highest rated, most popular ones, but make sure the podcast or the show you're getting on is, it's well produced. Like the graphics look good, like all the things, see how they talk about it, see how they handle their replays. Just do some due diligence to make sure that that's where you want to be, because you're on their stage, their platform, and you want to make sure it's where you want to be. I've made a few mistakes, especially when podcasts were first coming out, and really learned from them. So,
well, and that's the business of speaking. And I really focus on, how do you work with event teams? Because let me tell you, we have all the power in the back of the room. You may be kissing the ass of the host or whatever, and he might love you. But afterwards, when we're doing our review, and I say, you know what, that Kate Payne, she did some things that were really not kosher. I don't want her back on the stage. And
Mhm.
they'll say, okay, they take your word for it, because how you treat that back
Right.
end is so important. And I'm watching how you're treating our AV team, how you treating the staff in the hotel. They talk to me and they'll say, oh my gosh, that girl over there, she's, and so it's like, yeah, we're not going to have her again.
Well, let's take what you just said there and let's take that to creating and having and sending out a speaker one sheet, because
Right.
that can also be another first impression place, right?
Right.
So talk to me about the why you need one, and also now it's also becoming appropriate to have a podcast guest one sheet.
Right.
So talk to me a little bit about the speaker one sheet, especially from the event planner side. Like,
Well,
how are they using them? Because, they're doing research anyway. They're using LinkedIn. They're using whatever other tools they need to Google. Take me down that road.
Well, if I'm an event planner and I want Kate Payne to speak on my stage, and I reach out and say, can you send me your one sheet? And you're like, well, I don't have one. Okay, you're not professional. Number
Yep,
one, I can't
exactly.
trust you.
Yep.
So you can easily do your own, but have them professionally done. And please, please make them easy to read. Put a current picture. If you have a picture of you 20 years ago and you show up on my stage and your hair is gray and it was blonde, like, what
Yep.
happened?
Be
It's
you,
got to,
who you
yeah,
are
be
today.
you, because we are using those pictures. Like, if you look at the slide that you did before, it had a picture of me. I just had that picture taken in January.
Mhm.
Now, I could have given you the picture that was taken in 2019 that I absolutely love of me, but that's not what I look like anymore.
Right.
And if you're promoting me using my picture on your website, etc., on social media, and I show up differently, the audience is automatically not going to like me because they don't trust me. All of a
Mhm.
sudden, I've lied to them. And it's just as simple as that nonverbal. It's those 3 seconds that you walk on that stage and they're going,
Yeah.
whoa,
Well, the
that's
same
not
with
what,
LinkedIn,
yeah.
to be honest. I know
Well,
I'm
I want to get
interjecting, I'm
there
not trying,
too.
but it's the
And I want to
same
get
thing,
there.
like, use your profile photo of who you are today, not the one from 15 years ago.
Exactly. So that's number one, current picture. Make sure that you're up there where, how do I contact you? Where's your phone number? How do I find you on social media? What are the 3 things that you can talk about, and not go into detail and blah, blah, blah. Just whatever that topic title is, make it juicy and make it sexy and make it fun and different.
Like your signature topics.
Yeah, stop
Yep.
doing, I can 10x your business in 10
Oh god.
days. So old, so done, we're out of there, When I talk on event planning, I talk on, we're putting butts in seats, because
Mhm.
that's the one thing that event planners have a hard time doing. How do you get butts in seats? I'm going to help you do that. And then the description, what are the takeaways the audience is going to get? The
Exactly.
biggest thing you need to realize is it's not about you. It's about the audience. And when that audience is leaving and they're passing that table in the back, and I hear them say, oh my God, Kate Payne just changed my world. Did you hear when she said this? Or, oh my, and I hear those things and I'm like, okay, Kate Payne's coming back,
Yep. Yep.
So you have to have those things. So make sure that is, do not spend your entire page with your bio. And don't tell me that you graduated college summa
I
cum
can
laude
find all
and
that on
blah,
your
blah, blah, blah,
LinkedIn profile or on your
especially
website.
if
Yep.
it's an entrepreneurial event. We
Yep.
don't care what your college thing is.
Right.
If you
Yep.
are going to be speaking to colleges and universities, yes, that's appropriate.
Yep.
So just know what the audience is. But keep the bio short and sweet. Make it colorful, make it fun, but make it easy to read, because we don't have a lot of time. Then, second step, you better be hitting it on Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn, because that's where we're going next.
Yep.
Or we're going to your YouTube channel.
Yep.
You have to have a video that I can see. And I don't want to see your sizzle reel where it's
not
pictures
the
and this
clips of
and
where
this and
you've
that.
been. We want to
No.
hear you say a
With
thought.
your voiceover going
Yes.
over it. It's just, that means you're not a professional. I
Right.
want to see 2 to 3 minutes of you speaking on a stage, engaging an audience. It can be in the middle of your talk, it could be the beginning, but my goodness, show me that you can walk and talk and make an audience react, whether it's emotional, funny, whatever it is, because that's what I want. That's what I'm
Mhm.
looking for. And
Do
then,
you also one of the things I've done with people on their one sheets is if they've spoken for certain organizations, There's
Yes.
like a little, so when I do a one sheet for a client, I'm doing one sheet, but it's two-sided.
Right.
And so on the backside, there's might be one or two testimonials about them speaking. Somebody, the event planner, host, or whatever, said, "Oh my God, so glad I had them
Right.
on stage." Right. But then I have like a little, logos of 5 or 6 just to show like I was on the eWomen Network stage, or I was
Right.
on the Shimadzu company from Japan. I mean, like these are the kinds of things that are really well known, and it gives you credibility.
And that looks really good on the bottom. It's like as seen on kind of thing.
Yes,
And all
exactly.
those logos down there. And if
Yep,
you're on a logo Fox station, you were on Fox
exactly.
station. You weren't
Yep,
on KTLA in LA. You were on CBS or
yep.
NBC or ABC. So,
And that's totally legit to say.
totally legit. Totally legit.
Take it
You
from
have
your
a book.
PR person.
Put your book cover
Yeah.
on there.
Mhm.
These are all things that give you legitimacy. But don't do 2 pages if you can't fill 2 pages.
Exactly.
If you're just putting stuff about you, stop it, because we're not going to read it, and we know you're trying to sell us on yourself.
Right.
Now, the media page is different. The media pages can be 2 to 3 pages, and that will have 10 questions you can ask me. What is my free gift? It goes into a little more detail so that the podcast host has all that information at their fingertips. And like, these are the topics I can talk on. These are the questions you can ask me and I can cover to start out with, and then gives you a little more information. Maybe there's some more pictures of you. Excuse me, I need to drink from my cup.
Okay. Yeah. Well,
But
as I said, it's water. It's water with Kate
Yeah.
today.
But it's those kind of things, because that's what we're looking for. And we also want to know, are you active on social media? Because as you know, a speaker wants to promote themselves on a stage, but the podcaster and the host of an event also wants you to promote.
Exactly.
So if you are not willing to do that, it's a check against you. And
Yep.
if I go to your Facebook page and the last post you made was in 2014, yeah, not going to
happening.
do it. Not happening. But, I go to your Facebook page and it's 2014, but I go to your Instagram and you have 275,000 followers. Okay, you're not spending time on Facebook. You're doing it on Instagram. I want to be in front of those followers as well.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
we're looking at all of that. So you don't have to be everywhere, but I would be as consistent on all 3.
Right. Right.
And TikTok, if that's your audience.
So, Emma Demel is asking a question. She just joined, so she didn't really hear what we talked about a little earlier. But what are the most common mistakes beginners make when speaking? Maybe just think of one, Tony, just so that I want to answer Emma's question.
They wait till the day before an event and they start asking a lot of questions, or they show up at the event and they like, oh no, I thought I was going to get a lav mic and I want a handheld, or oh, what do you mean you're videotaping from the back of the room on just one? I want these guys. They ask too many questions.
Right.
Just know that the event planner, the week before an event, it is crunch time, and
crazy.
that's when all the fires come. You don't want to be a fire, so just get all your questions, and we don't mind answering the dumbest little question. What color's the background? So that if I'm going to be videotaped and I walk in and I'm told the background is black, so I'm wearing a white suit because I want to pop, but I walk in and now it's white because we got there and we went, oh, white looks much better. Bring an extra outfit. But ask all those questions. What kind of microphone? How much time do I have? Is there a confidence monitor in front that I can see? Is there a timer? Where's it located?
Explain what a confidence monitor is, just for people who might not know.
Okay, so a confidence monitor is if you have screens on either side of the stage and you're doing your PowerPoint and those are flashing, you don't have to turn around and look at them, that it's right in front of you, that what slide is on and what's your next slide.
I love it when somebody has those confidence monitors.
Makes it so much easier.
So much easier, so much better.
And more professional. So it's just those little things. And as I say, Emma, just start small. And you're going to make mistakes. But after every time you speak, go, what are the questions I should have asked? What are the things I need to know? And so then you put that together on a list. So then when your next time you're going to speak, you ask all those questions. Then you learn something else new. Then you ask all those, just keep a running total and start small. So then when you get to that point where Kate Payne is asking you on her podcast, you know what questions to ask before you go on.
Right, right. The other thing is that you brought up a good point about social media is if you're going to invite somebody on, send the people in advance. Like, here's the graphic we're using. Feel free to share it on your channels. Sometimes when I'm super organized, I get swipe copy, but it's not always the case. But a lot of people who are event planners will send stuff along, which is really great because then I can give that to my team and they'll make sure that we're doing all the things about that. So I want to switch back to the eWomen Speakers Network for a little minute. So in your work with the network, and you're working with women entrepreneurs, because that's what eWomen Network is. It's an international organization of women entrepreneurs and a few good men, as we say, who are in business, who own their own businesses. And there's chapters all over the world, actually. So in the eWomen Network's Speakers Network, what trends are you seeing right now in women entrepreneurs who are using speaking to build their visibility?
I am seeing more and more using video, real key. If you are not doing reels on Instagram or you're not doing YouTube channel or YouTube shorts, it is a great way to get your message out and get visibility and you get seen. And I always tell them, you're a speaker? And I look up their LinkedIn. It doesn't say speaker on your profile, right? Put that out there. People aren't going to know that. But the trends that I'm seeing is people are still sitting back waiting to be asked to speak. You have to be very proactive. Go to conferences that you want to speak on their stage. Be a great audience participant. Go back, get to know the event planners. Find out, what is the criteria for them to speak. I would love to apply next year. What does that look like? Go into Facebook. There's a place called #NeedAGuest. I'm sorry, my sinuses are going crazy.
Feel free to take a sip if you need to. We don't need. I don't want you to choke on my show. Tony, how did you like being on Kate Payne's show? It was great after I stopped.
Yeah. But #NeedAGuest, and there are people in there always looking for people. Put out posts with yourself. Hey, listen, I love speaking to divorce professionals, or I love speaking to men in this situation, or I love speaking to, I have a story and I want to really share a little bit with you right now. Let us get to know you. Put yourself out there. We're afraid to put ourselves out there because we're afraid, oh my gosh, what are they going to say in the comments?
Yeah, exactly.
There are trolls. You are going to get comments. People are going to say, stop talking. Don't listen to them. Because I tell you, there's a story of this one gentleman who spoke at an event and he was told there were going to be 200 people in the room. He got there were 10. And he gave his entire speech to those 10 people. And he's like, I'm just going to do my best. Where the other speakers were bitching and moaning and like 10 people, and they had that attitude. So he was walking to his car afterwards, and a gentleman came up to him and said, hey, listen, I was just in there. You are freaking amazing. I loved what you had. Is it all right if I introduce you to my boss? He does trainings. And he's like, sure. Didn't know the boss was, and I don't want to drop names, but a huge guy. And now this speaker is being flown all over the country in private planes to speak to these huge
I just got goosebumps. That's so awesome.
Wealth companies. And he is the keynote speaker, and the guy that starts those trainings before him, Tony Robbins.
Wow.
So he's been doing it for years, but he gave all he could to 10 people. So just know that no matter who's in the audience, somebody out there is either needs to hear what you have to say, can hire you for something, or wants to work with you. And just do it, and do it all with love, and go out there in a really giving mood that you're going to give instead of you're going to sell.
Exactly. So our friend Judy Fritz just popped in with a question. So the eWomen Speakers Network, is that a good place for beginners or just seasoned speakers?
We do the whole gambit. So whether you're just beginning, we focus on what your needs are. If you're a seasoned speaker, a lot of times you don't understand some of the little things that you've been missing when you're doing it. So we focus on those. So no matter where you are in your speaking journey, we're there to help you.
Great. Thank you. All right, Tony, we're going to sort of wind down here a little bit and have a little fun. So this is my last question because I think it's an immediate question. Okay. So if a listener wants to be taken seriously as a speaker, what's one thing they should do this week to get started or get noticed?
Put out on all their social media platforms that they are a speaker. And then I would get on a video and just tell a story. Tell your story, your
Great.
origin story,
I
and
love that.
put it out there and just see what comes back.
I love that. And I'll give you guys a quick tip from a LinkedIn standpoint. On your LinkedIn profile, put yourself in the experience section as a speaker, as its own standalone thing. Talk about your topics, and then you can actually take your speaker one sheet and add it as a piece of media. And you can put a video like your speaker video and have all of that in one place, living by itself in the experience section of your LinkedIn profile. And people look for that all the time. It's a really great tip. Instead of just saying speaker, show us and make
Well,
it and highlight it.
And one more thing that I think is extremely important in this world of digital, one sheets are extremely important, but
Yep.
you need a Google sheet that has all your topics, everything on it, all your links, everything, because now you have to go and fill out applications. They're just not looking for a one sheet. Oh, we want you to speak, give us more information. And it's so much easier if you can just cut and paste it,
Exactly.
and
Yep.
then niche it towards whatever their theme is, whatever their audience is. Don't think that, oh, just because you speak on the business of speaking, that I'm going to be going and talking to high schoolers. I got to niche that down to why public speaking is important when you get into college and when you start into get the business world, and how can you communicate, niche it down to whatever that theme is.
Right. Oh, Tony, this has been so great today. We've covered so much, and I know that this replay is going to be really hot because this has been just really full of gold nuggets here. So I have one little fun question for you. So you've got this. Tell us about your little pink headset. What brand is it?
I have no idea.
So pretty.
Logi, L-O-G-I.
It's Logitech
Yeah.
then. Okay.
Yeah.
If your pink headset could talk, what would it say about you?
It would say that she doesn't get up and get to her desk until 10 o'clock. And she doesn't schedule any kind of Zoom or anything until noon. And if there is no Zoom scheduled, she has no makeup on, her hair's in a clip, and she's wearing a jean shirt and leggings.
I love it. That's not what I expected. So that's awesome.
It's the first thing that came to my mind,
I love it.
That's the only time I put makeup on is because I am going to see people or I'm going to be on a Zoom. But otherwise, it's like, oh my God.
I put makeup on today for this show.
Well, and I appreciate it.
So let us know how can people get in touch with you if they want to learn about the eWomen Speakers Network, if they just want to ask you some questions about speaking because they want to tip their toe in, maybe they're a seasoned speaker. Let us know how people can find you.
Well, like the little graphic says, you can find me on LinkedIn, but also go to iamtonycaruso.com because I have all my different pillars there, and there's eWomen there, there's networking there, there's my business intensive, my speak, all the links are there. And connect with me, send me a DM. I'm also on Instagram at Tony Caruso Events. So,
okay, awesome.
Oh, there's my email.
There you go. There's your email.
Yeah. And I have a thing that I never shut down my computer till all my emails are read and answered. So,
wow.
So I get back to you within the day.
Good for you. Good for you. So when is the next eWomen Network Speakonomics event?
We are going to Calgary, Canada on June 19th and 20th. And then hopefully in October, we are working with lovely Jen Grant, who's coming here to visit me tomorrow. Yeah. She and Renee Bavoda are coming to visit. But Jen Grant is in Minneapolis, Twin Cities. We're hoping to do that the beginning of October, and then San Diego the end of October. I always do Dallas the beginning of the new year, so it'll probably be March. Okay. And then Orange County, California wants us to come there, and so does Sarasota, Florida. Cool. So just
I'll share a quick little story with our listeners. The very first Speakonomics was in Denver, Colorado. What was it? 2 years ago?
3 years ago.
3 years ago. And I was the sponsor.
Yes, you were.
It was such a great event. And one of the things I love about that event is as you've already mentioned, you talk about the business of speaking, and it's grown and evolved since then. But I love how you sort of, my word, localize it wherever you are. You bring people from the area who are an expert in podcasting or whatever. And The eWomen Network founder and CEO, Sandra Yancey, is there sometimes, and Brianna Day, her daughter, who's the head of digital marketing, is there to talk about some aspects. And it is one of the best events about speaking and fun. And then you tie it in with the America's Next North
America's Next Greatest Speaker.
Yeah. Tell us
Right.
just quickly a little snapshot about that.
Well, it's a great way for people to get on big stages and to share their story. And you get 3 minutes. You apply to be on it. So that's another reason to have a good video of yourself. And we go through all the applications. We choose 10 people in every city to jump on the stage and we have judges, they're local judges, and they get judged on their 3-minute story. And they have to do it within 3 minutes. That's a time frame. And 3 people from every city are then made semifinals, finalists. We usually have 10 people. We're actually going to have 12 this year on our stage in Dallas, August 13th. And the semifinals will happen. 3 people will be chosen from that group to go on to the finals on the big stage on that following Saturday and do 6 minutes. And North America's Next Greatest Speaker 2025 will be crowned.
It's just so much fun. Let me ask you a question on that 3-minute piece. Have you ever had to pull someone off?
Pull them off?
Well, yeah,
No.
you always say, like, even if you're still talking, your mic goes dead. And I mean, have you ever had to do that? I
Yeah.
mean, the ones I've seen, I've never seen anybody go over.
Well, last year,
Okay.
we had one that the speaker went off, the microphone went off, and she said, "Thank you." And I'm like, "Why did you even say thank you? Just stop it when you did, because now you just went over and the judges saw it."
Oh,
So
shoot. Good
when
to
we're
know.
when we're on the bigger stages, the AV team does all the timing, and it's when you say your first word, and then they turn the microphone off right
Yeah.
at the time. They don't let
Mhm.
it go. Well, when we do it locally, I'm the one that has to then cut you off. And
Yeah.
I usually let you finish the sentence, but there are people that have gone on and on and on, and I'm like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being on our stage, you know?
I know, and I'm sure it's hard, but that's the rule, and
Yeah.
everybody's got to play by the rule because
It's
the
a
rule of hard
competition,
business.
you know?
It is
This
a
is,
competition.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
Well,
had one
Tony
woman.
Caruso, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you with
Sorry.
us today. For any of you who are watching on the replay, please, if you have any questions, you can see the gamut of questions we've had. Feel free to tag me at Kate Payne or at Tony Caruso in the chat, even if it's 2 weeks from now or a month from now. And then one of us will pop in to answer your question. And if I see something, Tony, I'll text you and flag you and say, go in there and answer that question.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
So thanks for having coffee with me, or water with me in that case. And thanks everybody for tuning in. And actually, we have another Coffee with Kate episode next Tuesday, talking with Amy Matthews, who's a fractional CMO. And we're going to talk about customer-centric marketing. So thanks, everybody.